If you have type 2 diabetes, the most dangerous moment of your day might not be dessert. It might be breakfast, because a bowl of cereal, a healthy toast, even a glass of juice can spike your blood sugar fast, then crash it and leave you hungry, shaky, and confused 2 hours later. And here's the shocking part. Most people think diabetes is a problem of too much sugar only, but it's more like an overflow problem, and the overflow is happening quietly, meal after meal. Welcome back. In today's episode, I'm going to walk you through a simple diabetic meal plan for beginners, and I'll give you the 10 best low-carb foods that help steady blood sugar. Not fancy, not complicated, and please don't skip, because one of the foods near the end of the list is a surprise helper that people avoid for the wrong reason, and I'll also show you a beginner plate formula you can use starting tonight. I remember a patient who came in convinced he was doing fine because he had stopped sugary desserts, but his blood sugar was still running high, and he couldn't understand why. When we looked closer, the issue wasn't the candy, it was the constant starches like bread, rice, pasta, sneaking into every meal like background noise. Once we cleaned up the base of his plate, his numbers started to calm down, and you could literally see his anxiety drop with them. That's what I want for you too. Now, let's make the science simple. Think of your body like a kitchen sink. Carbs, especially starches and sugars, turn into glucose, which is blood sugar. Insulin is like the hand that opens the drain so glucose can leave the blood and enter your cells. But if you keep pouring in carbs all day, the sink fills up. Eventually, it overflows into the bloodstream. That overflow is what we measure as high blood sugar. And when blood sugar stays high, especially after meals, your blood becomes more like sticky syrup than clean water. Not forever, but often enough, it can irritate blood vessels and nerves over time. The goal is stop the constant overflow. Here's the big truth. Carbohydrates create the biggest, fastest insulin response. Protein creates a smaller, slower one, and fats, especially natural, unprocessed fats, barely push insulin at all. If you lower the carb flood, you lower the spill. One important safety note, if you're on insulin or medications that can cause low blood sugar, changing carbs can change your readings quickly, so it's smart to loop in your clinician as you adjust. Just for safety. Now let's build your beginner meal plan mindset with one simple rule. I call it the white to green shift. Less of the white starches, more of the green non-starchy plants. White bread to leafy greens, white rice to cauliflower rice, pasta to zucchini noodles. Same plate comfort, different blood sugar outcome. Let's get into 10 best low-carb foods for blood sugar control. And I'm going to start with the foundation foods first, the ones that make everything else easier. Number 1, leafy greens, spinach, arugula, kale. They're low in carbs, high in fiber, and they add volume to your meal so you feel full without the spike. This is how you eat more and spike less. Number 2, cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. These are the shapeshifters. Cauliflower becomes rice, cabbage becomes noodles or wraps. Broccoli becomes a hearty side that replaces potatoes, and because they're fiber rich and low starch, they don't behave like bread in your body. Now, number 3, eggs. Eggs are one of the easiest beginner proteins. They're quick, they're affordable, and they don't spike blood sugar the way a bagel does. Try this breakfast upgrade: eggs plus a vegetable, and add a healthy fat, like an omelet with spinach cooked in olive oil, or boiled eggs with cucumber and a few olives. A stable breakfast creates a stable day. Number 4, plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt, ideally not the fat-free kind. This is where beginners get trapped. Low-fat dairy often has a higher proportion of lactose, which is milk sugar. Plain Greek yogurt, add cinnamon, a few berries later in the plan, or even crushed nuts if it fits your goals, but keep it unsweetened. And if you're sensitive to dairy, that's okay. There are other options coming. Don't worry. Number 5, avocado. Avocado is basically nature's blood sugar brake. It's rich in healthy fats and fiber, and it makes meals satisfying, so you're less likely to snack on something that sends your glucose flying. Add half an avocado to lunch or slice it on top of eggs. Satiety is a blood sugar strategy. Now, here's the beginner plate formula I promised, and it's simple enough to remember without writing it down. Half your plate, non-starchy vegetables, protein, 1/4 healthy fat, or a small portion of smart carbs if your clinician has you aiming for a specific carb target. And in the next part, I'll continue the list with the remaining foods, including the surprise helper I mentioned, and I'll show you exactly what to eat for a full beginner day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack ideas that don't feel like diet punishment, okay? If this is helping you feel more in control, hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel reach more people who need calm, practical guidance. Number 6 on our list is berries. And yes, fruit can be tricky with diabetes, but berries like strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries are the most forgiving option for most beginners because they're lower in sugar and higher in fiber compared to many other fruit. Now, in a moment, I'll tell you the one breakfast mistake that looks healthy but spikes glucose in many people faster than cake. Don't miss that. Number 7, fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel. These give you protein plus healthy fats, and that combination tends to slow digestion and reduce the sharp rise after meals. Also, when your meals keep you full, you're less likely to snack on mystery carbs, and that's where beginners usually get in trouble. A satisfied body is a steadier body. Number 8, extra virgin olive oil. This is one of the easiest upgrades you can make without changing your whole life. Use it as dressing, drizzle it on vegetables, cook with it gently. It helps with satiety, and it doesn't create that sudden insulin spike the way bread does. And if you want a simple habit, make your salads taste good, because if your food feels like punishment, you won't stay consistent. Consistency beats intensity. Number 9, nuts, especially walnuts, almonds, and pistachios. Nuts are small but powerful for beginners because they're portable and they cover cravings. And choose nuts that are plain or roasted, not honey glazed, not coated, not sweet chili flavored, because those coatings often hide sugars and starches that your body definitely counts. Low carb snacks only work when they're actually low carb. And now number 10, the surprise helper I promised. Full fat, minimally processed foods like cheese and even a little butter. I'm not telling you to go extreme, but many beginners are still stuck in the low fat trap. When fat is removed, companies often add something else to make it taste good, usually sugar or starch or maltodextrin, and those ingredients can spike blood sugar fast. Cheese, on the other hand, is typically low in carbs, satisfying, and slow digesting. So a small portion, like a few slices with cucumber or a little grated cheese over broccoli, can help you feel satisfied without triggering a glucose surge the way crackers would. Just keep an eye on portions, and if you have high blood pressure, watch salty processed versions. Fat doesn't automatically equal bad. Hidden carbs often are the real problem. Now let me correct 2 big misconceptions quickly. Misconception number 1, type 2 diabetes is always chronic and progressive. Many people can improve their blood sugar control dramatically when they reduce the carb overflow and lose excess body fat. Not everyone gets the same outcome, but the direction is often the same. Fewer starches, steadier numbers. Misconception number 2, all vegetables are healthy the same way. No, there are starchy vegetables like potatoes, corn, and sometimes large portions of carrots or peas that behave more like bread in your body. And there are non-starchy vegetables like leafy greens, broccoli, zucchini, cucumbers that you can usually build your plate around much more freely. Now remember the breakfast mistake I teased. Here it is: liquid carbs, juice, sweetened coffee drinks, smoothies with bananas and honey, even healthy cereal. If you want a beginner win, chew your calories, don't drink them. Water, black coffee, unsweetened tea. And if you use milk, be careful with skim milk, because when fat is removed, what's left is mostly lactose, which is milk sugar. Beverages can quietly ruin a good meal plan. Now let's talk about protein. Protein can still affect insulin. Your body can convert some protein into glucose through a slow process called gluconeogenesis. But here's the difference. That process is slower and more controlled compared to starch. So protein usually doesn't create the same sharp spike as bread or rice. Still, you don't need protein overload. You need balanced protein: eggs, fish, chicken, meat, tofu, lentils in modest portions depending on your carb target, paired with non-starchy vegetables and healthy fat. The goal is stable fuel, not extremes. Now let me give you a full beginner day: simple, practical, and repeatable. Breakfast options: option 1, 2 eggs, sauteed spinach, and half an avocado. Option 2, plain Greek yogurt with a small handful of berries and a sprinkle of walnuts plus cinnamon. Option 3, an omelet with mushrooms and cheese with sliced cucumber on the side. Lunch options: option 1, big salad, leafy greens, olive oil dressing, chicken or tuna, olives, and a few nuts. Option 2, cauliflower rice bowl with grilled salmon, broccoli, and a drizzle of olive oil. Option 3, lettuce wraps, turkey, cheese, avocado, and crunchy vegetables inside. Dinner options: option 1, grilled chicken with roasted zucchini and a side salad. Option 2, burger patty with sauteed cabbage and a little melted cheese, no bun. Option 3, stir-fry beef or tofu with broccoli, peppers, and mushrooms, served over cauliflower rice. And if you need a snack, a small handful of nuts, a boiled egg, a few olives, Greek yogurt, or cheese slices with cucumber. Snacking is not bad. Snacking on sugar spikes is the problem. Now, before we close the topic, in a second I'll tell you the label words that often mean hidden sugar, even when the package looks diabetic friendly. Here they are. Watch for maltodextrin, dextrose, rice syrup, modified starch, and anything that ends with to-os. And be careful with low-fat and sugar-free marketing. Some sugar-free foods use sweeteners that keep cravings alive because they keep your brain expecting sweetness. It's like ringing a dinner bell, even if dinner never comes. Over time, that can make it harder to feel satisfied. If you use sweeteners, keep them minimal and notice how your appetite responds. Your cravings are data. Listen to them. And a quick, gentle safety reminder: if you ever notice symptoms like chest pain, severe shortness of breath, confusion, fainting, or signs of very low blood sugar, especially if you're on insulin, get medical help urgently. Most people won't face that day to day, but you should know the red flags. Now, before you go, I want you to do one small challenge. For the next 7 days, do the white to green shift once per day, just one meal. Swap rice for cauliflower rice, swap pasta for zucchini noodles, swap bread for a big salad base. Prove it to yourself with your glucometer or your energy levels. Small changes become big results when they repeat. Now I'd love to hear from you. In the comments, tell me, what's the hardest meal for you? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner? And what's one white food you want help replacing? I read your comments and I try my best to reply, and right there on the screen, I want you to watch the next video I recommend: 5 nuts that can help lower blood sugar, because not all nuts work the same way, and choosing the right ones can make snacking feel easy again. I think you'll find it helpful. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode.